Homelander isn't just a villain in a cape. He's not simply a symbol of corruption or unchecked authority. He is us, raw, unfiltered, and terrifyingly real. While Superman floats above humanity as a beacon of moral perfection, Homelander walks among us as something far more honest, a mirror. And when you look at him, really look at him, you're not supposed to feel disgust. You're supposed to feel recognition.
It's true. You lied to me, my homie.
Let's start with the Golden Boy, Superman, a Kryptonian god raised by a humble Kansas family, a symbol of hope, morality incarnate, the ultimate what-if fantasy of what power could look like when fused with unshakable goodness. But here's the problem, that's not realistic. Superman is the lie we tell ourselves about what we would do with power. Homelander is the truth. You don't become morally perfect just because you can fly. In fact, history tells us the opposite. By the way, if this is making you uncomfortable, good. It should. That means you're paying attention. And if you want more uncomfortable truths about the world, power, and the stories we tell ourselves, hit subscribe. This channel doesn't do comfort food content.
Hey, guys.
Hello.
We ask hard questions, and sometimes the answers look a lot like Homelander. Now, where were we?
Kidding. Come on, lighten up. I'm joking. Where we gotta go?
Right. Absolute power. Look throughout history. When has absolute power, unearned, unopposed, and unaccountable, ever created compassion? Lord Acton once said, "Power tends to corrupt, and absolute power corrupts absolutely. Give a man power without accountability, and he doesn't become Superman. He becomes Caesar, Stalin, Leopold, Pol Pot, Homelander."
I don't need you.
And let's be fair, Homelander was never given the chance to be anything else. He wasn't raised by loving parents like Clark Kent. He didn't grow up learning values from Ma and Pa Kent, or being taught that restraint is noble. He was raised in a lab, studied, manipulated, commodified. He didn't learn empathy. He learned obedience and performance. He didn't learn love. He learned worship and fear. And yet, this isn't what makes him so disturbingly real. What makes Homelander real is that despite all the power he has, he's still so painfully human. He wants to be loved. He craves admiration. He lashes out when he feels threatened or disrespected. He masks deep insecurity with brutality and arrogance. Sound familiar?
Homelander?
You boys okay?
That's not an alien. That's us. Strip away the superpowers and what are you left with? A human being driven by insecurity, fear, pride, and the need to be seen as important.
I'm done. I'm done apologizing. I am done being persecuted for my strength.
A human being given godlike authority and no boundaries. And that's where things get dark. Philosophers have wrestled with this question for centuries. What happens when man is given godlike power? Friedrich Nietzsche wrote, "Man is the cruelest animal." And in the same breath, he warned us of what happens when we seek to become gods. The concept of the Übermensch, the Superman, wasn't a celebration of strength, but a challenge. Can we evolve past our pettiness? Or will power only expose how unevolved we truly are? Thomas Hobbes believed that human beings, left to their own devices, descend into what he called a war of all against all. A life, he said, that is solitary, poor, nasty, brutish, and short. Now imagine a Hobbesian world with a man like Homelander at the top. No checks, no balances, just one insecure god with the power to vaporize dissent with a glance. Here's where things get even more uncomfortable. When we look at Homelander, We're not just seeing ourselves, we're seeing the gods we've created in our own image. Let's talk about the God of the Old Testament for a moment. In Exodus, God sends the angel of death to kill every firstborn in Egypt. Not just Pharaoh's son, every child. You might ask, isn't he God? Couldn't he have done something else? Something more merciful? But he didn't. And maybe that's the point. The gods we've made, vengeful, wrathful, territorial, aren't divine outliers. They're reflections of human desire for justice and control and revenge. Voltaire once said, "If God created us in his image, we have more than returned the favor." Homelander is not just a superhero. He's a man we worship because he reminds us of the gods we've always imagined. Powerful, terrifying, flawed, and somehow still entitled to our loyalty. You know what's even more chilling? Homelander isn't dumb. He knows exactly how to perform goodness. He smiles for the cameras. He saves planes, unless there's no benefit. He speaks in platitudes about justice and peace, but behind that image, he's calculating, violent, unhinged. He doesn't want to save people. He wants people to need saving from him. He is the weapon and the savior. He is the threat and the solution. That's the ultimate power. And we, the audience, the society, and the boys, gave it to him. Because we love the illusion of goodness more than goodness itself. We want superheroes like Superman. Because Superman lets us sleep at night. He tells us that good people with power exist. But deep down, we know better. We've seen what happens when people win the lottery, when they gain followers, when they get rich, when they're praised like gods. Most don't become better. They become insulated, arrogant, detached. Homelander isn't the exception. He's the rule, with the safety off. So here's the uncomfortable truth. When you watch Homelander murder innocents, intimidate teammates, and demand obedience, don't look away in moral superiority. Look inward. You and I may not have laser vision. We may not fly. But the desire to dominate, to control, to be adored without question.
I'm stronger. I'm smarter. I'm better. I am better.
That's in all of us. Power doesn't change people. It reveals them. Homelander isn't an alien. He's us, on a platform, with power, without limits. And that's why he's the most realistic superhero in fiction. Because he's not a hero. He's just a human being who never had to pretend. Maybe we don't need more superheroes. Maybe we just need to be honest about who we are.